Let's return to the NBA. Well, LeBron and the Lakers beat the Pelicans last night, but not without a little help from New Orleans, who played Anthony Davis just 20 minutes and sat him for the duration with just under 5 minutes to play in the third quarter of a close game. For his part, Davis said it was tough for him to sit out during crunch time. I watched this game last night, and this was embarrassing for me just as an NBA fan and a basketball fan that I'm watching a game like, oh, this ain't even a real game. That the New Orleans Pelicans have virtually no interest in winning, and we get it when teams tank, but this is like on a different level. The second best player, or arguably the best player in that game, doesn't play after midway through the third quarter. That's crazy, and it just puts a big, when you got LeBron on the court, it just puts a big highlight and focus on the fact, oh, man, some of these games just don't matter at all.
Yeah, it's a bad look. If you think about it, neither side is winning. It's crazy. The NBA, I guess, in a tug-of-war with the New Orleans Pelicans, and in any negotiation, you want to win-win. And if not that, at least a win for one side, neither side is winning. Think about it. The NBA is like, okay, you got to put them out there. They're like, yeah, we're going to put them out there, but not in crunch time, not in meaningful time. And then New Orleans is not winning as well because they're not letting their franchise player play the 37 minutes he was playing all year until his demand. So I don't know which way is up in this situation. It's just a horrible look for the NBA.
It's a bad look because, one, I feel for Alvin Gentry, who was my assistant coach at Phoenix, because this goes on his resume as losing, okay? So he's preaching to his team about winning and, finishing out the season, but yet and still organization says the best player has to sit down. Teammates, same thing. Why would I want to be here? Okay, you asking me to go out there and put it on the line, but you're not giving me the opportunities to win, okay? And it's a tough situation because the NBA says, Chris, as you know, you can't sit a player if he's not hurt. Okay, well, we don't want our franchise player to get hurt, so we'll play him in the first quarter, second quarter, third. He may get hurt in the first. Listen, when I tore my ankle up, it was 7 minutes in the game in the first quarter. He can get hurt in the first quarter as he can in the fourth. It's just a bad look all the way around.
We've had incidents or precedents that when a player is not a part of of that team's future, they sit that player. They did it with Eric Bledsoe. They did it with J.R. Smith, numerous other players. Shannon Parsons. But the problem is Anthony Davis is of a superstar caliber. And I think if they were allowed, if the NBA sat back and first of all, he shouldn't be playing. He shouldn't be playing. I'm usually all for the players and their right and their freedom to do what they feel. But in this regard, New Orleans has everything to lose in allowing this kid to continue to play. He has an injury history. And so one thing why the NBA's integrity is being killed with this situation right now, because you're playing them 22, 23 minutes. Everybody knows what you're going to do. They know that you're not out there trying to win, even though the game was close. The game is close. The Pelicans got a shot, and then they pull Anthony Davis for the remaining 15 minutes of the game. That just looks so dumb on many levels. That's why this is looking like a blunder. If they need to sit him. The NBA needs to allow the Pelicans to sit him the remainder of the season.
But what's weird about it is Porzingis got traded for value, and he was injured. So this whole narrative that he can't play because if he gets hurt, it's going to kill his trade value. Is that really going to be the thing? Anthony Davis is on a trade market. You think they're not going to be suitors?
I think when you're a small market team and the injury history that Anthony Davis does have, they have to protect themselves.
Max value.
They got to get max value. They got to protect themselves.
Marcellus, I was going to go to, and you can help me, because would anything like this ever happen in football?
No.
I can't.
You know why? Football, and I learned this being a player rep for 9 years, they talk about uniformity. So you got to think about the umbrella of the NFL is really about the jerseys and the name on the front. So a lot of interchangeable parts, including, as long as you're playing under the umbrella of the NFL, we don't care. Small market, big market, you go to this team, to this team. NBA is star-driven. You guys talk about the individual. So now it gets individualized with the player and the team. Which team is this, though? Is this a small market team? Is this beneficial for the league? So when you have those kind of fragments, all of a sudden you're not looking at it like this is for the greater good of the league. You're talking about just one market or one player. That's why there's contradiction. Eric Bledsoe, go ahead. Oh, you a superstar? No, you can't. But in the NFL, they just think about it all under one umbrella, NFL.
This is a problem I think they need to fix.
They meaning the NBA?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. It's counterintuitive. We don't want you to tank, but you got to do this, okay? They know that New Orleans, from the perspective of where they're at, has to maximize Anthony Davis, okay? They know that in the office. But yet and still, you're forcing their hand to have to play a guy they're trying to protect. So what's the options for the NBA? Because this is a rule already in place. What's their option?
I think one of the things they're going to have to address, like, they're going to have to go really big picture because the max contracts you can get from your hometown teams don't seem to be enough incentive to keep those guys loyal. So maybe they're going to have to go even further, make it even more financially beneficial to re-sign with your...
But here's the thing. Agents are smart. How they got around the max salary contracts, Supermax, is, okay, we'll circumvent it. We'll do 1-2 year deals, get our bird rights, and we'll circumvent it. There's always going to be a different avenue from an agent's perspective. Keep in mind, free agency is a fallacy because if I'm an unrestricted free agent, I should be able to go to market and get what the market bears. By restricting me to say I can only make the most here at my home team and not in the market, is not really free agency.
Yeah, and it came back to bite them. They thought Supermax was going to just be the glue. You're not going anywhere. You get a Supermax.
These teams have...
Who has signed a Supermax? One person?
These teams have 7 to 8 years with these players under contract to show these players that they should be committed to this organization because we're trying to do the right thing. They didn't do that in AD case.
Yep.
All right, coming up, we'll give you our latest approval ratings for Kyler Murray. And Uncle Jimmy will explain why Murray should be the first overall